We begin Unit 14, Rational Equations, with flaps 1 and 2 in our foldable. To solve an equation containing rational expressions, factor all the denominators. Find the LCD, least common denominator. Multiply every term on both sides by the LCD. Simplify to get rid of the fractions. Solve for the variable, and make sure to check for extraneous solutions. Extraneous means false solution. Example 1. Factor the denominators. In example 1, the denominators are already factored. The next thing to get is the LCD. The least common denominator is x. Multiply x by each term in the rational equation. Doing this allows us to simplify and get rid of our fractions. In the first term, the x's will cancel, leaving 5. In the second term, there's a 1 on bottom, so just multiplying the top, I have 2x. And in the last term, the x's again will cancel, leaving 6. Now solve this one variable equation. Subtract 5 from both sides. Divide by 2 to get x equals 1/2. And the very last thing to do is check for extraneous solutions. To do this, we need to see what numbers will make each denominator 0. So set the denominator in the original equation equal to 0. X equals to 0. So x cannot be 0. Since we got 1/2 as our answer, that is our answer since x is not 0. Example 2. Factor the denominators. The first term factors to be x times x plus 1. The second term, x plus 1, is already simplified. And the last term, x, is already simplified. Get an LCD next. The least common denominator is x times x plus 1. When getting an LCD, make sure that each denominator is represented in your LCD. Then multiply the LCD to each term in the rational equation. This will eliminate the fractions. In the first term, the x and the x plus 1 will reduce or cancel. This leaves just 3. In the second term, the x plus 1s will reduce or cancel, leaving 3x. And in the third term, the x's will cancel, leaving -1 times x plus 1. This is just a one variable equation now, so solve for x. Remember, the -1 needs to be distributed to both terms inside the parentheses first, leaving 3 plus 3x equals -x minus 1. Add x to both sides to get 3 plus 4x equals -1. Subtract 3, and 4x is equal to -4. Dividing by 4 leaves x equals -1. Now we need to check to make sure there are no extraneous solutions. We do this by checking to see what numbers make the denominator equal to 0. So set each factor in the denominator equal to 0. x is equal to 0, and when x plus 1 is set equal to 0, x is equal to negative 1. Negative 1 is an extraneous solution. It cannot be an answer. Since negative 1 is an excluded value, there is no solution to this problem. Example 3. Factor each denominator. X minus 2 is already simplified, but in the last term, x squared plus 3x minus 10 will factor to be x plus 5 times x minus 2. The LCD of this rational equation is x plus 5 times x minus 2. Multiply this expression to the rational equation. This will eliminate our denominators. In the first term, the negative 2's will reduce, will cancel, leaving 2 times x plus 5. In the second term, the x minus 2's will cancel, leaving x times x plus 5. And in the third term, both the x plus 5 and the x minus 2 cancel, leaving 6. Now we have a one-variable equation. Solve for the variable x. Remember to distribute both the 2 and the x to everything inside their respective parentheses. Subtract 2x from both sides and subtract 10. Remember, we want to set the equation equal to 0. Now we have 0 is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 4. Factor and set each factor equal to 0 and finish solving. 0 is equal to x plus 4 times x minus 1. Setting each of these factors equal to 0, we get x equals negative 4 and x equals 1. Remember to check the solution for extraneous answers. We need to check the numbers that make the denominators equal to 0. X minus 2 is the original denominator, and x plus 5 are in the original denominator. 2 will make x minus 2 equal to 0, so the answer cannot be 2. And negative 5 make the denominator equal to 0, so negative 5 cannot be an answer. Therefore, my solutions are x equals negative 4 and x equals 1. Example 4. Factor the denominators. X minus 3 in the first term is already simplified. X plus 3 in the second term is already simplified. X squared minus 9 is a difference of 2 squares, x plus 3 times x minus 3. Now get the LCD, which is x plus 3 times x minus 3. Multiply the LCD to each term in the rational equation. This will eliminate the fractions. In the first term, the x minus 3's go away. We're left with 2 times x plus 3. In the second term, the x plus 3's will cancel, and that leaves negative 4 times x minus 3. And in the last term, both the x plus 3 and the x minus 3 cancel, leaving 8. Now we have a one-variable equation that we need to solve. Distribute the 2 and the negative 4 through their parentheses. Combine like terms. The 2x and the negative 4x give negative 2x, and a 6 and 12 are 18. Subtract 18 from both sides and divide by 2 to get x equals 5. The numbers that would make the denominator equal to 0 are 3 and negative 3. So 5 is our answer. This concludes flaps 1 and 2 in our foldable.